Elder Corporation World Headquarters. I'm Steve Moyna with the Elder Corporation, Vice President of Business Development. And with me is my right and left-hand man, Sean Swigman.
Yeah, and I'm the GPS manager here at Elder Corporation.
The business has been around for 60 years. We were getting ready for quite a celebration here this year until some other things impacted that. But we plan to be around for at least another 60 years. And hopefully some of you out there would like to join us here at Elder Corp.
Yeah. A lot to discuss, a lot to go over on my side. So I'll let Steve do all the talking first.
Okay. So in general, we'll talk about what we do as a company. Most people that know Elder Corporation think of us as earthwork. While we do a lot of earthwork, we're also involved in many other things. We do tree clearing. We do demolition of existing structures. We do recycling of concrete and asphalt paving. We do soil stabilization with chemicals such as cement, quicklime, and fly ash. We also have a quite extensive hydro excavation line where we take pressurized water to break up the soil and find below grade existing utilities. We do underground utilities as far as sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main. And we can also handle site-specific and highway infrastructure projects from start to finish with other trade partners doing paving and other things. But Sean would like to focus on the GPS side of what we do and explain these things sitting on the table here in front of us.
I'm Sean Swigman with Elder Corporation. I am the GPS manager here at Elder Corp. I've been here going on 6 years. Been in GPS since about 2004, so we're going on almost 16 years. Started out with a local company here in town. Due to the economy, I switched positions, went to Ziegler and did GPS there, and then was hired over here to manage the GPS fleet, build all the 3D models for commercial, residential, highway infrastructure, whatever the case may be, whether it involves dirt moving or putting pipe in the ground. I manage 2 guys. One guy does all the field work. I trained him into fixing machines and setting up the jobs and then calibrating those jobs. Then I also have one guy that I hired this spring. He's my drone guy now. So he does all the processing. He deals with everything infrastructure, data processing with the 2 drones you see, and I'll talk about those in a second. So there's a lot to discuss with GPS. We can go back years and years, but the big thing with GPS is the cheapest dirt you want to move is the dirt you move once. So that's why GPS is important. It's a time saver. It's a money saver. It settles disputes, lawsuits, whatever. So basically what I do is I make a 3D model of a project from some data that I get from an engineer. I then use 2 programs to build that model, whether it's in Ag Tech or Trimble Business Center. Elevate the whole design, kick it out for our machines that have GPS control. They run a certain file structure. There's 2 separate entities when it comes to GPS. There's GCS, which is grade control system, which is on like the dozers and excavators. And there's surveys control system, which is a tablet. It's basically a ruggedized tablet, whatever, that the guys can use in the field, basically the foreman or our scrapers that we have. So I create that file structure, send it out. Basically we deal with what's known as RTK, which is real-time kinematic. So we're getting real-time information as we're moving dirt, whether it's utilities or actual earth moving. We're getting real-time information as we track across the job site. So we're just using, there's 3 segments that are involved. There's a space segment, which is the satellite, a user segment, which is our machine control or our survey control. And then there's also a stationary segment, which is our base station, which collects all the data from the satellites and then transmits that to the machines and the controllers out in the field. So like I said, they're getting real-time information as they're moving. With GPS and our machines and our tablets, whatnot, we're getting 1/10 of accuracy as we cruise across the job site to get our cut fill. And inside those machines and even on the tablets, it's going to show you your cut fill as you move across the job. So we got to take dirt from one place, move it to other. So we're taking the cut, moving it to the fill. With that, guys can see that on their display in their machine, move the dirt efficiently. They can actually, instead of looking at plans, they're looking at a actual true, basically a true 3D system in their machine. So like I said, we're saving time, we're saving money, moving dirt faster. And the big thing with technology is it keeps on advancing and advancing, and you got to keep up. If not, obviously you're going to fall behind. So that's one of my big things here at Elder. Ever since I came here, was to put us on the top of the map with GPS, whether it be the dealers, the developers, in-house, all the guys in the office getting their feedback and input. I'll take all that data and figure out and make us the best possible company when it comes to GPS. Yeah. So GPS too, I don't know how you want me to keep going. 2 years ago, I'll talk about the drones a little bit. 2 years ago, Trimble came out with a system. Trimble's a company that sells GPS, that develops GPS, came out with a system to make topoing, which is basically going out and surveying a job and getting actual topography of the land. You may see guys on the road or out in the fields with their survey equipment, whether it be a total station or a rover that we use. Basically, they're collecting data, whether it be in the streets, some manholes, whatever. But we use drones to do that. One, it's a lot faster. Two, it's a lot safer. We can actually fly a site in 15 minutes and get over 10 million shots instead of sending my guy out there, spend 6 hours, get maybe 10,000 shots. So we're getting better data, better accuracy to compare with before starting a job, while the job is going on, and then when the job is done. Then we have that data to go back on and look at it based off of our drone topo. And how it works is with the drones, basically set a path, the EBX, which is a fixed wing, which is this one. It just has one motor on the back. I fly that on my computer. This is just a DJI drone with RTK, GPS, runs off the Iowa network. Just set a program in there, send them up in the air, and then they'll fly. And as they fly, they take pictures. And as they take pictures, it's basically georeferencing data off of a known point, whether it be control points that we've set or arrow points that we have that collect GNSS data and Wi-Fi signals. So basically, it's taking every image, it's placing it, and it's getting every single data, whether there's trees, rocks, dirt piles, buildings, cars, whatever. And then we use a program to we'll send it out to the company based off the DJI drone, and they'll process it for us and give a nice 3D map, or we'll use the program that I use, and I'll go ahead and clean it up. And then what it does is it takes all those pictures, say there's 800 pictures, the program will stitch each picture together based on the photographs and the georeferencing. And then I can take that data and compare it to whether it's a surveyor's topography or topo or something we've topoed, or at the end of the job, we just want to make sure we're on grade. So, yeah. Anything else?
Should I start at the beginning?
Should be
As far as projects, and then lead into your side of it. So I'm going to start with, once we're contacted by a customer and we know the actual information of the project that they want us to build for them and what has involved, that's a great opportunity to reach out to Sean so he can go out and do a second analysis, because normally we have a civil engineering firm that's working for the developer that provides this information. We want to first double check that information, make sure that we understand it better than the design entity that's putting it together, so we can put together the appropriate pricing in order to construct the project itself. And a lot of what Sean does is capture that real information, current information, allows us to better understand in our own office. We then take that proposed on what it's supposed to look like once it's completed, put a dollar value with that, and present it to the developer. We then also Most of the time we get that work, fortunately, because a lot of things that Sean does in the background. Once we go to start those projects, that model that he's created in order to mirror what the project's going to look like when it's done. While he was talking earlier, I equated in my mind that he is building a 3D copy of what that model is, the same as a 3D printer does. So his information then goes actually to the machines in the field itself, and they create that 3D copy in the field of what a design entity has put together, whether it's actually moving the soil or putting the sanitary storm and water in the ground, and then eventually the site being paved or have a building placed on it itself. So because of everything that he has able to put together, we can also take a 3D model before the work ever starts and give that information directly to our customer so they can see it constructed in 3D along with the pricing that we're putting together so that they have a better comfort level of what we do and why we do it. I'm only pausing because what she had, did you see what she threw up on?
Yeah. So a little bit about my background. I kind of skipped over that. My background, I went to college for biology. Got out of college, Grandview College, and decided to go to work instead of searching. I got into construction business quite early. So when I started with GPS, basically what it consisted of was me troubleshooting back in 2004, 2003, was troubleshooting machines and doing installs on the GPS machines, which led me to Ziegler, where I sold the systems. I learned everything I could about the systems, did support over the phone, anything to do GPS related, I was on top of it. So my background is just basically starting with the basics of how does the GPS system work? How is it installed? How do we troubleshoot it? And then from there, it just kind of took off, and the doors kind of opened up for me down the road, and everything's worked out great, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. And across the board, as far as our employees, we have everything from people that have had no schooling after high school to those that have certainly bachelor's degrees and a few with even beyond bachelor's degrees. So
yeah.
At this point in our company history, we need everything from truck drivers to equipment operators to GPS managers to laborers putting in pipe.
Field guys.
You name it.
Yeah.
The demand is there. Diesel technicians. A lot of the programs that DMAC offers directly tie into things that we need here at Elder Corporation.
And going back to the technology side, as time goes on and the progression of technology, it's just going to open up more doors for people coming out of college. The good thing with the younger generation is they're so tech savvy already. They can catch on quick to say the programs we use, whether it be the drones, the software, even get into augmented reality that we're using for job sites. The kids are on top of it these days, and they pretty much can catch on quick. On my side, there's not a whole lot of schooling behind unless there's a survey or an engineering class to get a better grasp of how CAD works and how we capture things and stuff like that. So once again, we'd like to thank you for listening to us talk about our company. I can't emphasize enough what a great thing it is to take something from basically a drawing and then months down the road go back and look at it. To me, that's the best feeling, saying, hey, I was a part of that. I was a part of this. And just the people around our company are fantastic. I wouldn't rather work anywhere else. My love for this company kind of does run deep. But if you have any questions, GPS related or on Steve's side, you can feel free to contact us. Once again, Sean Sligman with Elder Corporation, GPS manager. Yeah.
And whether you're a young person just starting out or somebody changing careers midlife, there are so many rooms, there's so many different avenues within our industry to put you to work. We need people in nearly every facet of what we do. And we're so involved with other people in our industry also, and those that make us better and perform better, whether it's soils engineers, civil engineers, architects. There's so many different avenues that tie directly back to site work activities, that if there's any way you want to learn more about us, I would be more than happy to allow you to job shadow and come in and see what we do, take you out to job sites itself, and just familiarize yourself with site work. So many people know or seem to know things about the vertical construction being the building itself, but our world is a horizontal construction. And if we can do anything to introduce information regarding that to you and some of your friends, we'd be happy to do so. And again, I'm Steve Moyna, in charge of business development here at the Elder Corporation. Thank you for your time.